Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my first review over the book My Sister, the Serial Killer by Oyinkan Braithwaite. I always butcher her damn name. Sorry. And so my reviews, I'm going to try and keep them spoiler free since this is my very first book review on BookTube. I'm going to try and keep it spoiler free. I am going to kind of go through like 4 different things. Like I'll go through plot, I'll go through character, and then I'll talk about like themes, likes, dislikes, kind of things, and that may all blend together in one I guess melting pot of a video, and then finally I'll give my rating. So we'll see how this goes. So My Sister, the Serial Killer. So this was a super quick read. The book, I think, was little over 200 pages, and so it was super, super quick to get through. And the fact that Braithwaite structured it so that her chapters are super small. I watched an interview with her through the BBC where she talks about the structure, how she kind of wrote each of the chapters as their own little self-contained stories, so to speak. And so they still fit really nicely. You felt like there was a flow to the book from beginning, middle, and end, but it didn't seem like it was bombarding you with information, which made it really quick to read. So the basic plot of this book is it follows 2 sisters, Korede and Ayoola. Korede is the older sister, and she works as a nurse in a hospital in Lagos. And she is kind of the dutiful daughter. She is the older sister, and so therefore she is tasked, as most older sisters unfortunately are, with taking care of her younger sister. Unfortunately, she gets absolutely no credit for this. Now, the twist, of course, in this book is that Ayoola has killed not 1, not 2, but 3 of her freaking boyfriends. And she is essentially an entitled psychopath. She is, Korede has to clean up her messes, figuratively and literally, every time she kills one of her boyfriends. And life is kind of continued on as much as it can, I guess, normally, until Ayoola catches the eye of Korede's crush, this like too good to be true, like saintly doctor that she works with, who she's had a crush on for years. And at that point, Korede's like, shit, my sister's gonna end up killing him, and she's trying her best to stay loyal to her sister while also trying to keep her from killing Kade. Again, I'm butchering that name, but he's the doctor. So the characters in this book are really interesting, but also very aggravating, because to be honest, you kind of root for Korede, but she's such a doormat. Like, she lets her sister get away with literal murder all the time. She doesn't speak up for herself, and she doesn't speak up against the obvious prejudices that are going against her, because Ayoola is not only the younger sister, but she's also gorgeous. She's also, men kind of fawn over her. She has this like infectious personality that people are just drawn to. And Korede is kind of the exact opposite. People have never said that she's pretty. Her mother doesn't look out for her the same way that she does for Ayoola. It's almost like, oh, Korede will take care of herself because she always has. But I just feel like Korede puts herself in the situations that she is in, because she lets her little sister walk all over her, and she doesn't say shit about it. Now Ayoola, on the other hand, it like really irritated the shit out of me because she's just so oblivious to the shit that she does. And so she's like, she is the quintessential like entitled little sister. On top of her entitlement, she's also a freaking psychopath. Like, she has like, she doesn't show any feeling at all for the men that she kills. She even goes as far as to say that it was all self-defense. It's all self-defense. And she makes everyone feel, especially Korede, feel bad for her because she's like, well, you know, she says it's self-defense, so it must be self-defense. And it just, yeah, the whole sister thing in this book doesn't really ring true. Partly because even when Ayoola protects Korede in certain scenes, it felt more like her own self-preservation as opposed to any real desire to help Ayoola. It was more like, well, if I help my older sister, then it's gonna help me, kind of thing. So, I mean, I think they have a bond partly because of what they had to deal with their father. Their father was extremely abusive, not only to them but to their mother. And there's some reason. I think the backstory with the father has a lot to do with why Ayoola is maybe like the way she is. I think there was a point to the backstory with the father, but it wasn't really too terribly like gone into, so to speak. You're kind of wondering like how did he die, like who killed him, because even when that part comes up or is discussed, like I wasn't quite sure. I should have gone back and reread it, but I wasn't sure who did it. It definitely wasn't from natural causes, let's just say that. Ayoola is a bitch. Korede, to me, was a doormat. But the absolute biggest asshole in this story was the freaking doctor. Oh my god. Of course it's from Korede's point of view, so of course she's gonna sit there and say he's, you know, so awesome, and oh my god, he sings to little kids, and you know, he, you know, feeds the poor and all this, so like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, kind of thing. But he is such an ass because he falls into Ayoola's trap, hook, line, and freaking sinker. As soon as he sees her, immediately he's like in love. Like, oh hey Korede, can you like hook me up with your sister? Like, it's so unbelievably annoying. But he's like every other guy, and he plays into that stereotype that you are going to go after this chick just because she's hot, essentially. There were moments where I was like, you're such a dick, and I hope that she does stab your ass. But I understand his position or his purpose in the story, because the interview that I watched with Braithwaite, she talked about one of the issues that she wanted to discuss within the book was this preoccupation with beauty, and how I think what I was getting from this piece was that because Ayoola is beautiful, she's more likely to get away with things. People are more likely to forgive her or feel sorry for her, as opposed to Korede, who is not the quintessential beauty, and so she's less likely to get away with that. But oh my god, did he play into it so much. I mean, he did Korede dirty like numerous times, where he's just like, well, you're just jealous, and I'm like, you're a grown-ass man, how are you gonna do, I don't know. He irritated the shit out of me. Akade and all the other guys are blinded by her beauty. about Iola's beauty, because she's like a poisonous snake or a flower. Like she's beautiful, she's pretty to look at, but she'll stab your ass as soon as she gets tired of you. So I didn't feel bad for what happened to him, because he was such a stereotype, and his purpose was to highlight that aspect of this preoccupation with beauty. So I knew his purpose, but damn, was he freaking annoying. Like, I did not like him at all. I think the humor in this piece, because it's marketed, and all the reviews and stuff like that have said, like, it's darkly humorous. I mean, there were a couple of lines, there were a couple of parts where it tickled me a little bit, but for the most part, it was mostly humorous because it was so ridiculous. Like, the fact that you have this, serial killer who, has their older sister clean up after them. Like, it is, I can see this being a humorous kind of, or darkly humorous thing, but it wasn't like laugh out loud kind of humor. I read this in a day. What I really enjoyed about it was just the ease of reading it. I liked some of the more subtle topics that she wanted to discuss. Either she wanted to discuss them specifically, or they just naturally came through the story, like the preoccupation with both of the sisters getting married. This idea that they need to be this particular way. Like, Ayoola can't cook for shit, but Korede can. And, the fact that Ayoola can't cook is something that will, like, make her less desirable as a wife. There's a flashback with their father when they're younger, and I want to say the father basically, like, was trying to give Ayoola away before she was even, like, 14 to a man. So there's definitely a lot of issues that are discussed in this book, and it's done in such a quick way that you're almost trying to kind of play catch up, and it stays with you for a couple of days. Like, I got done with this on like Saturday. It's Tuesday, so I had to kind of process my thoughts a little bit on this. I would recommend this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars just because it is a unique story. I really liked the point of view from it. Even though I wasn't a fan of Korede, I kind of felt for her, but I also am like, you're really gonna stay loyal to your sister. Like, alrighty, like, she treats you like shit. I don't know. Like, I felt like that aspect of the sisterhood, like, there wasn't enough of a give and take relationship with them. It was constantly Ayoola taking from Korede. And I felt like that aspect of the sisterhood angle just kind of pushed it, out of the 5-star range for me. But I would still recommend this for people just because it's a quick read. It's an interesting concept. You have that like Black Widow kind of situation going on with a female being the serial killer and the female being the dominant one. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what else Braithwaite has out, because I'll definitely pick that up. I liked her writing style. It wasn't too overly flowery, but it was enough description that I kind of got the gist of it, which I think because of the short chapters that she had. So yeah, so if you have not picked this up, I totally recommend that you do. I borrowed this from my local library, which I was really surprised that they actually had this. Yeah, so good on Shirts Library. So I'm currently reading, I don't have it with me, it's over by my bed, Hope Nation. So I'll probably get done with that in the next couple of days, and then probably put up a review of that. That one's going to be kind of weird though, because it's an anthology. So I'll have to figure that out. So If you like this video or want to see more of my content, click the subscribe button and like this video, share it, and we will see you.